those little ones, they know how to get things done. Take care of business.
Taking care of business. Good morning. I'm Stella Escobedo. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start with this. A foggy start to your Tuesday. This was the drive from the South Bay in National City. Give yourself some extra time this morning.
Another view this time in Kearney Mesa. Same thing. Low visibility out there. And we have team coverage for you on the fog this morning. Evan and Jenny have a look at the impact on the airport as well as the roads. But we begin with Netta with a little bit more on how long this is going to last here. It's tough to track this sometimes, right?
It certainly is, but we can say, you know, once temperatures start to warm up, the fog usually lifts a bit, but we're not getting much of a warm up today. And that's why we're dealing with this. So this is our view. Somewhere in there would be downtown San Diego. Visibility certainly impacted from, you know, IB all the way into Oceanside, although I've been seeing these low numbers extending from Kearney Mesa through Miramar, Carlsbad, and Oceanside. So if you're driving along the 5, definitely want to leave early. Do not hit snooze this morning. It's time to probably get going if you do need to go. So don't want to rush through any of it. That fog advisory lasts until 10 o'clock this morning, and that's typically when we start to see a little improvement. Let's get a check of traffic now. Good morning, Jenny.
Well, no improvement out on the roads. We've got the fog, of course. Netta just mentioned all that, but we've got crashes as well. 94 westbound after the 805, single lane blocked. We got some big old backups there, stretching back for about 5-6 miles, hovering at about 15 miles an hour. Crash here on the 94 Hamishaw. This one's causing backups as well. The rest of your travel time's not too bad, but again, that North County's socked in with the fog.
Jenny, thank you. Well, we are staying on top of the fog and the potential impact to flights.
News 8's Evan Ronnie is live at San Diego International Airport with more on this. Good morning, Evan.
Yeah, good morning to you as well, Stella and Eric. That's right. We have been keeping track of the flights into and out of San Diego International Airport. And so far this morning, we can report that there are plenty of delays and cancellations leaving San Diego International between about 6:15 and noon today. Now, we can't attribute that directly to the fog. We don't know for sure that that is the cause of it, but it is very important this morning to check on your flight status before you head out the door. Take a look at some of the video recorded by our photojournalist Julio Vasquez just this morning out of the South Bay. Chula Vista socked in with that fog as we woke up this morning, and now as the sun starts to come up, we are expected to see some improvements, but you can see what an effect it had on most of your coastal communities as we kicked off the day. It began really late last night and continued all the way through this morning, in some cases intensifying. That's why that dense fog advisory was issued and is in effect up until about 10 a.m. Now, as we head toward that sunrise, we are expected to see some improvements that will be made, but again, the flights out of San Diego International, many are delayed or canceled, and it is a good idea, of course, to check that flight status if you are going to be leaving out of San Diego International. Now, the good news is that as far as arriving flights go, many of those arriving flights do not begin to come in until we get into about 10, 11, and noon, so there will be more time on that end. However, still a cause for concern if that fog does stick around. It's definitely a possibility that the National Weather Service extends that dense fog advisory. And as far as the range that it covers, well, it's pretty wide in terms of the area. It's a good portion of San Diego County, the coastline, of course, and then all the way up through Orange County as well. So a lot of Southern California dealing with this morning, and it looks like as we head through the next couple hours, we're hoping to see some improvements made. Outside of the San Diego International Airport, I'm Evan Narani, News 8.
And we want to see the fog where you live. Upload your videos through the Near Me feature on the News 8 app. Tap the Share With Us button on the top. Answer a couple quick questions, and a pin will pop up in a matter of moments. This morning, registered nurses and caregivers with Palomar Health are hitting the picket line. They are calling on improved staffing levels and patient safety conditions.
News 8's Chris Groh is live in Escondido with a closer look. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, and the nurses believe that those things go hand in hand, that they need to have the right amount of co-workers, essentially, the right amount of staffing in order to take care of their patients the best way possible. Now, here's a list of demands that they are going to be trying to put out today to try to get support from the public and from customers going into the hospital, and patients, I should say. Now, essentially what they are saying is that on top of there being short staffing, Palomar is putting patient health at risk by outsourcing resources instead of trying to address the short staffing. According to the California Nurses Association, instead of hiring more workers, the hospital applies for state waivers that increases the nurse-to-patient staffing ratio, putting patients at even more risk. They also claim instead of hiring more staff, Palomar has laid off workers. Now, the nurses and healthcare workers here are in the midst of negotiating a new contract. Palomar has responded by saying, in part, quote, "Clearly, This is a negotiation tactic by the labor union. We continue to be disappointed by their smear tactics designed to gain the upper hand in their contract negotiations. Now, that statement did go on and continued. If you'd like to read a little bit more about it, you can go to CBS8.com, click on that story link. But as for that picket that's happening right now at the main entrance of the hospital, again, they're going to be letting people know going in and out what they are demanding and then trying to push for that support by having that petition up online as well, too, asking for people to sign in. Eric and Stella.
Chris, thank you. And this morning, new rules will be in effect at the County Board of Supervisors meeting. That means each person will be given 1 minute to comment on issues rather than 2 if there are more than 10 people wanting to give their input. Supervisors will also be cracking down on threatening language. The new rules were voted on last week in an effort to curb disruptive conduct. And today, county leaders will weigh in on a proposed federal ban on new offshore drilling in Southern California. Board Chair Nathan Fletcher and Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer will put forward a policy. It's in support of proposed legislation by North County Congressman Mike Levin. This comes after last month's oil spill in Orange County that led to tar balls washing up on local beaches.
This morning, the fate of Kyle Rittenhouse is in the hands of a jury. 500 National Guard troops are standing by in Kenosha, Wisconsin, as the area awaits a verdict. Jurors will decide whether Rittenhouse is guilty or acted in self-defense when he shot and killed 2 men during protests in the police shooting of Jacob Blake. The 18-year-old is facing up to life in prison.
All right, let's get you caught up on your forecast here this morning. Check out the view in Del Mar. Oh yeah, a very, very foggy start as you see. Low clouds, they started to roll in around 3-4 o'clock. Onshore flow just switched. So we had the dry winds for 4 to 5 days. Everything now has changed. You're not feeling as dry, but it may be a tough commute this morning. So, we've been talking about it all morning long. Give yourself plenty of time before you head out. What a difference. Our view in Del Mar, all gray and overcast, and then check out this one. San Miguel's view, looking to the east, it looks like the sky is on fire. We do have high clouds in the mix too. And some areas, it's actually clear. Chris Groh was saying Escondido, no fog issues there. Fallbrook, El Cajon, you're not waking up to those low clouds. Instead, you're getting quite a really pretty sunrise this morning. So the official time will be at 6:20, as you see there. And that's when we get to the coldest point of the morning. That's also when our fog will be at its worst. So that's something to keep in mind. If you do have to leave in the next 30 minutes, it may be really rough. Now, San Miguel's view, this is really cool what's happening right here. You have these high clouds right there, and then if you look at that, that's that layer of low-lying clouds. So you can actually see that coating a lot of San Diego, but it has not gone all the way to the Sweetwater Reservoir. That's nice and clear. So parts of Otay Mesa are clear. San Miguel, as you see, the view does not show the low clouds all the way to the foothills, which we do typically see when we have this onshore flow. So it's pretty weak, but it is coming in from the coast. So visibility at the coast, especially to a few miles inland, you're down to a quarter mile. Dense fog through 10 o'clock. Onshore flow is here. The marine layer's here, and that means cooler temperatures also here. So checking in on that visibility map as we've been going through this all morning, it's still at a third in Oceanside, Carlsbad, Miramar, half a mile now in Kearney Mesa. At the airport, you're at 5-mile visibility, but you saw those East County locations. You're clear, and that's why that advisory is not extended into Ramona or Escondido, so it's not really impacting much of the 15. It's more west of the 15. Taking you through your cloud forecast model for the day, around 2 o'clock, you'll start to see a little clearing. So between 2 and maybe 5 o'clock, we'll have that sun come through, and then the sun, of course, sets. Marine layer comes back. So we'll see a lot of the same here tomorrow morning. Now, I do want to talk about those temperatures. I'll get into all of that coming up in your full forecast. Let's check in with Jenny now. Any major accidents to deal with?
Yeah, we've got the same 2 that have been here, I would say maybe an hour or so, and they're both causing backups. You can see where that fog is just peep for the yellow, and that's where the reduced visibility is. So the 94 still struggling, especially westbound, because that's where we've got that crash right after the 805. Cruiser blocking just a single lane there. You can see that 94 westbound jammed up, that northbound 805 approaching the 15. This is heavy as well. So that's probably the biggest delay I'm seeing in the South County. 94, if you're heading east here, Campo Road, single lane is blocked, so we've got some slight backups with a crash as well. No updates on anyone being hurt there. Travel times here look great. No issues on that northbound 5. 5 or the northbound 805. Coronado Bridge, that's not an issue for you currently. This is where the fog is the issue, though, along the entire stretch of the 5, driving basically from Encinitas, Del Mar, continuing south. That 56 impacted as well. But the good news is I'm not seeing any big backups, and currently still no crashes reported to the North County.